Greetings duelists, and welcome to another video. So, on September 22nd, around later afternoon, we got a very special announcement that was around the TCG, and it is a new format. So, this new format is called Genesys, and it's basically a new way to just play Yu-Gi-Oh! And at first glance, I just looked at it as another Time Wizard format. However, over the next couple of days, we've gotten a lot of advertisement on this. We've gotten a lot of articles. We got a lot of updates. We got a lot of suggestions that was made. And you know, a lot of disclaimers, and it's even at the point that they even like advertising and like they're like strongholding this competition to be at major events, to the point where even we'll have a YCS, and not only that, they're even like giving offering feedback, like, and accepting feedback from the players, like on like consistent basis, starting with YCS Anaheim. Now, at first glance, I'm gonna say this is a really good idea. I've had a couple of friends that like were interested in this concept. I've even had people that were not originally Yu-Gi-Oh players, or they were like casual players, that were actually interested in this. That was really good, like in my eyes, because I've always had like a different audience of people that you were just fan of the game, but they've just found it very complicated in order to just start playing. So I can get behind this idea. I also can get behind like their point system. However, this is not perfect by any means. I think this needs a lot of improvement. One thing that I will share from this is one of my favorite decks of all time now has a chance to be played as opposed to the TCG format. The perfect example I can show you is Dragunity. For those who have known me ever since I started playing this game, and those who have known me like back when I was playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Up to this day, they probably already know that this is my favorite archetype of all time. However, this deck is unplayable in the TCG, in the current TCG. Why is it unplayable? The reason this deck is almost unplayable is because it's a deck that is fragile to almost every non-engine in the game. Like Red Veiler, Ghost Ogre, the dominance cards like Duel and Lockbird, Ash Blossom, like name a hand trap, and that hand trap probably kills this deck. Like I cannot play a deck in a format where somebody plays over 15 to 20 non-engine that is just defensive on turn 0 with a deck like this one. In Genesys, it's a different story, because since you have points distributed, these points are allocated into different like cards, and that also includes like non-engine cards. Like, for example, Ash Blossom is 15 points. I think Duel and Lockbird is like 5 points. Ghost Ogre is also like 5 points. Like, now all of a sudden, all those decks that play like a billion on engine actually have to make a deck building consensus if they want to play like a strategy like that one. Here's a perfect example. This is the cost of prevention article that they made. Like, if you take all of these like non-engine cards, like, you have a lot of points. And I really like the fact that now deck building has to be a little bit more astute for the players that are building their decks. And that's really good on my end, because that's not to say Dragunity is instantly playable right now in this format, but it means that all those cards that would have chokeholded and would have prevented me from playing this strategy now are a little more tuned, and like we won't see them to a very high degree. Another thing I really like about Genesys, and I'll show you another deck, for example, some cards that are not available in the current TCG are now available. And there are some decks in the game that are just not functionable without some of these cards. Like, just try playing Adamancipator in 2025 without Block Dragon. I can tell you right now, it won't go well for you. If me playing Blood Dragon means not playing Link monsters and Pendulum monsters, I'll happily take that trade. Like, playing old school Yu-Gi-Oh! And just like making it a synchros heavy strategy while playing cards like the Blood Dragon are perfectly fine on my end. Like, in all honesty. And yes, some of these decks are not at full power. They are not like being played to a level or a degree that you would expect them to. Like, for example, I cannot play all the rulers in this deck if I wanted to, without like sacrificing points and just not playing other engines. But this is another fun thing about the game. Now you don't really have to be creative when it comes to like your strategies that you're playing like in this game. And you know, I'm more than happy with that. Like, if me like sacrificing like ease in deck building means that I can play combo decks and like not think about like non-engine at all, like, so be it. And that's not to say that you cannot play non-engine. Like, look at this DD Crow, for example. This is a really good card in the current TCG format. In the current Duel of Dimensions format, this card is a card you should really consider for your side deck at the moment. And this card costs 0 points at the moment. So that's not to say that they are ignoring like the contribution of the cost of prevention. Like, you can actually play defensive cards in your deck and just be creative with them. So yeah, like, what are my final thoughts on Genesys at the moment? I do believe that this is far from perfect. I do think that some things could be adjusted. Right now, for example, I'm on 105 points. I could take this out, for example, or take out like another of the Kokuaki Merus, but you know, and I would be perfectly fine. Like, this is already 43 cards, shaving it down to 41, just to make sure that my points are in check. Me playing the Blood Dragon, that's also fun in the game. I will say this, the vision that Konami wants to attract involving the casual players is still a long haul. Like, taking down 2 mechanics was a very smart move. Like, taking down pendulums and links makes it a lot easier for deck building. It also incentivizes and helps those people that are already playing Duel Links, those people that are already playing Master Duel, those people that used to play all the old Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, people that are watching the anime, like that. This system also helps them. But the thing about it is, we have over 10,000 cards in the game, and this list has a lot of cards. Like, yes, we do have a dedicated deck builder, but like, right now, at the time of this recording, there are over 500 cards in this list. Imagine if you're just a new casual player and you're starting the game, and you have to look at every card in this list. That's not that favorable, like, in my opinion. Let's say there's a strategy that you really like, that you kind of want to revisit in the game. Like, something that I also don't like is, we have a lot of like generic searcher type cards that are like worth a lot of points. Like, Why is, let's see, for example, let's say if we can find a good example. Why is Onomatopeira 33 points? Like, I understand you kind of want to play the equality game for a lot of archetypes, but you know, the Utopia strategy is not that popular. It's that it is popular in the anime. Imagine if you were a fan of the anime, you want to play the Utopia deck, but you, all of a sudden you can now play 3 Onomatopeira without sacrificing like other things in your deck. Like, this is just one of those things that I'm not the biggest fan of. Numeron Calling is another one. Like, why is Numeron Calling and Numeron Network over 30 points? Like, this strategy, it's a very, very finite strategy. It only has one gimmick, and sometimes that gimmick would have been circumvented with link monsters. There are no link monsters in the game. Like, you know, this could have easily been less points. Fun fact, this Ohime that's right here was actually Ahime before. They changed it. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, like, this used to be the Arahime. They just mistook the monster. Metanko is not really that popular of a deck, so this card could easily come back. Let's go. Lurlock's Bird Call. Why is this 20 points? Like, is there something degenerate involving Lyrilusk that I just don't know about? And I've been playing this game for a long time. I probably would have known if there's something like worse than Bird Up like happening involving this strategy. I do like that they are hitting current cards, like for example Noroi and Joyko. Like, some of these strategies are just a little bit too powerful in the game and should be addressed. Fun fact, Paradise Matcher was not in the list, and now it is. Kind of funny that they made it 67 points. But yeah, like, I hope that after YCS Anaheim, like, the feedback is well received. They end up like actually adjusting this a little bit further to a point where this is actually like very, very playable for a lot of players. Like, my final consensus is I'm not ready for Genesys format just yet. Yes, two of my favorite decks are now more playable than in the TCG, but that's not to say that these decks are infinitely playable. Like, on day one, people were abusing Spiral, people were abusing Vanquish Soul, people just found exploits for strategies that probably should have been more balanced than they were already. And like, I really like that Konami is like actually paying attention, and they're actually like making these type of changes very quickly. Like, in my personal opinion, I think another Vanquish Soul monster should be in here, not just Holisu. I think Dimension Shifter for 10 points is a little bit too like steep. Dominant Spiral just came to the TCG, and I really don't think this card is problematic at all. This is a weird one for me, but I kind of like it. Yeah. Well, that's it from me. We'll see what happens with the Genesys. The one thing that is like I'm liking a lot is the fact that there are casual players who actually like Yu-Gi-Oh in general, but are not like die-hard competitive players. They are actually interested in playing the game again because of something like this. I think this is a good concept. I think that Konami is very, very serious about this, and I really do hope it takes off. Will you see content from me involving this metagame? Maybe not yet, but who knows? Maybe if I do well enough with some of these decks that I really like, you could see me doing weekly deck reports with them. But until then, keep practicing and keep dueling.